Tim Blotz. We start here right away at 6:30 with the story of a slow recovery in Waterville. Now, you may remember this view of just the overwhelming flooding in Waterville last summer. Nearly a year later, one woman is now slowly and steadily trying to build back.
Her home has been completely gutted thanks to flooding, damage, and mold.
But as our Mary McGuire reports, that Waterville homeowner will not get $1 of federal disaster aid.
It's been nearly a year since flooding hit parts of Waterville hard, and some people are still left in limbo as their homes sit empty.
We had our nice dining room table in here and our living room.
Wood, concrete, and black mold are all that's left of Jenny Johnson's dream cabin on the shores of Lake Tatanka in Waterville. It's been nearly a year since floodwaters devastated this area last June, and Johnson, along with many others, still don't know what the future will look like.
We don't know what the outcome's going to be.
FEMA only offers disaster relief for damage to people's primary homes, so the Johnsons' claim was denied.
It soaked everything up.
But after a disaster event, local officials may request money from the state to buy flooded properties or help with the cost of raising homes. FEMA would only cover 75% of the cost if the project is approved.
The state would typically pick up the other 25%. We've been told the state doesn't have funds right now, and they don't predict that the state will have funds.
The process is a lengthy one, and the Johnsons are still waiting for a final answer. In the meantime, they are paying the mortgage and covering water and sewer bills for a home that's been gutted for months.
I think that's the best solution. It's a permanent solution. No one will ever have to go through this again.
Johnson owned the cabin for just 7 weeks before the flood, and she has no idea if her family will ever be able to make memories here again. She hopes her experience serves as a warning to other home buyers looking to be close to the water.
When they go to see a cabin, go, I heard about that one thing. Maybe I should dig into this more, and maybe I should research this, and save one person from buying something that could be a complete disaster.
The city of Waterville is still accepting applications for their flood recovery program. That only covers $500 per residence. Reporting in Waterville, Mary McGuire, Fox 9.
About an hour south of the Twin Cities now. The city of Waterville still recovering about a year now after that historic flooding. So much property damage, including homes and businesses. Fox 9's Mary McGuire is checking in down there. So, Mary, you caught up with a woman whose cabin was gutted. Does she feel like she's getting the help she needs all this time later?
And Amy, we're just here on the shores of Lake Tatanka. This was really the hardest hit area by that flooding. Like you mentioned, I spoke with Jenny Johnson today. She bought this cabin just 7 weeks before that devastating flooding. Things look mostly normal from outside of the cabin, but take one step inside and it is a very different picture. You can see that the entire cabin has been gutted by this devastating floodwaters that they were dealing with. She says that she's been in sort of a battle for the past year to find out what the future of this property will be, what the future of her family cabin will hold. She applied initially for FEMA disaster relief, but discovered that damage to people's primary homes, that's the only thing that's covered. So Johnson's claim was denied since this is their secondary residence and their cabin. I also do want to mention that we do have her permission to be in here and to show our viewers everything that's happened in here. But after a disaster event, local officials, they can request money from the state to buy out flooded properties or help with the cost of raising homes. That's through the Hazard Mitigation Grant Program. FEMA would then cover 75% of the cost if that project is approved. But this process is a very lengthy one, and the Johnsons say that they are still waiting for answers from the city of Waterville and also from those federal officials about what the future will hold and what will happen to this property here, Amy.
Mary, really quickly, do we know how many people did not have insurance approximately? I remember last year we heard from some folks who just did not have insurance at all.
Yeah, not an exact number, but like you mentioned, flood insurance is one thing, but that disaster relief is another. Thankfully, Jenny tells me that her family did have flood insurance on their home. But just for example, they had a fully furnished cabin here, and insurance only covered about $500 to replace the cost of, you know, the bedding and all the kitchen stuff. So really just covered kind of a fraction of what was damaged in all of this.
Mary, as you guys were heading into town, what did the city look like now? Still a lot of signs of damage?
Definitely. A lot of the cabins in this area under construction right now. We've also seen a lot of for sale signs, and that's one of the reasons that Jenny wanted to share her story with us today. She thinks it's very important that people who might be looking for a second home, looking for a cabin in this area, know that this is an area that is very prone to flooding, so they need to understand the risks when they're getting into a home. Of course, this was a historic event that happened last year, that the area really hasn't seen that extensive of flooding in many years, but it's possible. And that's why Jenny wants people to know about what can happen here.
Yeah, the recovery is just, it takes so long. It's good to check in though and see how they're doing. Thanks, Mary, appreciate it.